The CPB is a private, non-profit corporation. The only issue is that, despite not being a government agency, it is still funded like one. And because Congress controls its funding, that's always left the CPB vulnerable to political attacks. This is what led to this famous moment in a hearing about the CPB's funding when Fred Rogers addressed a sceptical senator and described what his show was all about.
And I feel that if we in public television can only make it clear that feelings are mentionable and manageable, we will have done a great service.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. Looks like you just earned the $20 million.
Wow, that is a truly heartwarming thing that would never, ever happen today. If Mr. Rogers had given that exact same testimony this year, Ted Cruz would have called him a radical left lunatic, Fox News would have run with the headline Mr. Rogers' socialist neighbourhood, and the White House would have posted an AI video of President Trump kicking him in the balls. But while the public media's funding was saved on that day, it has been threatened consistently ever since, usually with complaints about its so-called liberal bias.
Why is there this small elite group at the Corporation for Public Broadcasting that gets to spend money they didn't earn?
Brainwashing the American people, and more significantly, American children, with un-American, anti-family, pro-crime fake news.
What right do they have to spend money they didn't earn applies to literally any use of taxpayer money. And also, congratulations to Newt and Callista Gingrich on their documentary Journey to America, released this year on, guess what, PBS. As for Marjorie Taylor Greene's comments, I think we all know what she means by anti-family, but I'd love to know what PBS programming is being interpreted as pro-crime. Is it the episode of Arthur where the brain gets himself into a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation? That clip is from earlier this year at a hearing that Green chaired, where the CEOs of NPR and PBS were questioned about why, in her words, taxpayer funds were being spent on left-wing echo chambers for mostly wealthy white urban liberals and progressives who generally look down on and judge rural America.
Do you think that you should publish something that calls trees racist? Is that, in retrospect, should you have published that?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
You had a segment that was called Racist Trees, and it was I mean, we've already referenced it a number of times.
It turns out it wasn't a segment about how trees are racist. It was this documentary telling the story of a historically black neighbourhood in Palm Springs and their decades-long fight for the removal of a wall of trees that many believed were originally planted as a totem of segregation. So I guess I'd answer his question of, do you think trees can be racist, with a question of my own, specifically, do you understand that the titles of movies are not always 100% literal? The Wolf of Wall Street isn't about an actual wolf with a successful investment strategy. Now, should it have been? Absolutely it should, but sadly, it wasn't. There can be a good faith debate over bias in the media, liberal or otherwise, but I'll point out that a lot of the time, what Conservatives claim as liberal bias is often just things like showing there's a long history of racism in America or that gay people exist, making it hard to interpret those criticisms as anything other than bigotry. And yet, arguments like those just got used to justify zeroing out the entire budget of the CPB, which isn't just stupid. In many places, it'll actually have the exact opposite of the intended effect.